It is my genuine belief that you should not have a plan B if you want to be successful, and in today's video, I'm going to tell you why. So the other day, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with Travis Barker, the drummer from Blink-182, and they were talking about his, coming up story and how he became a drummer and how everyone told him no when he was growing up, when they asked him what he wants to do when he's older, and he always wanted to be a drummer or, be involved with music somehow. Everyone always told him no and asked him what his plan B was, and he always told them that he never wanted to have a plan B. And he talked a lot about how having a plan B kind of takes away your focus from that one thing you're focused on, and it also makes you not give it your all because you have this fallback option. So I just wanted to talk about these concepts today because I really relate to these a lot. So I remember when I started taking music seriously when I was in the later days of high school, and I really wanted to be a musician. That is exactly what I wanted to do with my life. At least up until that point. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to get a career job. I just wanted to, live on scraps until my music kicked off, and that was going to be my life. To say the least, my parents were a little bit shocked that I wanted to do this. I wanted to not only graduate high school early so I could start this music thing sooner, but I also wanted to skip my graduation ceremony because I felt like it was kind of a waste of time. Now, I ended up going to my graduation ceremony just to make my parents happy, but they were still kind of shocked that I wanted to pretty much give up my future for this one thing that was really risky, and the chances of me making it were almost none. But in my heart, I knew I wanted to do this, and I knew that I could figure it out as I go, and as long as I enjoy the journey and not focus so much on the outcome and the money reward part of it, then I'll be fine. And that was pretty much the philosophy that I had back then, is I just wanted to keep making music and just enjoy it and, work a job on the side to, keep myself afloat so I don't go homeless, of course. But I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to get a career job. I didn't want to, be in that rat race where I'm working a 9-to-5 for 40 years. I was just like, I can't do that. That's not me. I'm a creative, artistic person that wants to provide value to people, and I wanted to figure out a way to monetize my talents. But the reason why I relate to what Travis Barker said is because everyone always asked me, especially my parents, like, what's your plan B? Like, what if it doesn't work out? Blah, blah, blah. And like even other adults or other friends even thought that I was crazy for trying to do this because they're like, you're not even good at making music yet. Like, how are you any different from everyone else? Like, you have to be super lucky. It's like winning the lottery, blah, blah, blah. Like, I heard everything under the sun, and I always was like, I don't want a plan B, because if I have a plan B, then I'm going to lose focus for this one thing that I'm focused on. And I don't want to have a plan B and have that, like, subconscious, like, fallback where I'm not giving it my all. Because if I have this plan B in the back of my head, then subconsciously, I know that if whatever I'm doing doesn't work out, then I at least have a safety net. And I think this will cause me to not give it my all and like give it my 150% when I'm working on it. And I think it kind of lights a fire under my butt a little bit more, knowing that if I don't succeed at this thing, then I'll end up either homeless or like really depressed or whatever. And so the risk and the punishment is a lot worse, which causes me to work way harder than what I would if I had that, financial stability or something. I would even go as far as to say, like, if my parents were really well off and they were able to financially support me to be a musician, I probably would not work on it as hard as I would if I was financially struggling. And so this is why I tell people to not have a plan B, because I think it's going to rob you of your motivation, your focus, and your success. Now, this doesn't go for those who don't know what they want to do yet. I'm only talking about those of you who pretty much know what you want to do, you know what your passions are, you know what your hobbies are, you know what things make you happy, and you know that you either don't want to go to college, you don't want to get a career job, you don't want to go into debt for your education, those types of things. Now, if you're someone who maybe wants to be like an architect or maybe wants to be a doctor, but you're not really sure, then absolutely, if you're going to school to be an architect, you should have a plan B in the works for if you end up not liking that, so you can go on that doctor path. But if you're someone who knows that you definitely don't want to be a doctor and you for sure want to be an architect, then why would you have that plan B? You're just wasting your energy, your mental real estate, you're wasting your resources. You need to be focusing 150% on the architect thing. I think a huge aspect of succeeding is having a healthy amount of urgency and a healthy amount of dissatisfaction with yourself. Because if you have too much dissatisfaction, then you're going to just be depressed and unmotivated all the time. But as soon as you start to get satisfaction, you'll feel like you're crossing that finish line, and then you'll end up losing your drive. And so that's kind of the biggest takeaway from this video, is not having a plan B, in my opinion, increases your drive tremendously, because you know that failure is not an option. Because if you do fail, then you're really gonna lose. Whereas if you have a plan B and you end up failing, then you know that you're going to still be safe. And so my message to those of you out there who don't know whether or not what you're doing is going to work, or whether it's too risky, or like maybe you should have a plan B because you're doing something like being a musician, or what I'm doing right now, trying to be a YouTuber, things like that. All I can say is if you know that's what you want to do, and you know that it makes you happy, and you see a long-term vision for it, and you still see yourself doing it in 5 or 10 years, absolutely go for it and screw everything else. Like seriously, screw everything else. Chase after your passions and your dreams, because you need to be giving all of your energy to this thing for it to work out. You need to be living, breathing, eating, and sleeping this one thing. And rather than having a plan B, I think you should have a financial safety net, if anything, or, have an actual plan. I don't think that you should have a plan B, but for your plan A, you need to have a plan. So you need to write down all the things that you want to achieve with this, what you're going to do to make money in the meantime while you work on this side hustle, and what you're going to do when you end up actually bringing in income from the side hustle and your transition from your job to doing what you want to do full time. I think you need to really think about those questions and kind of write them down so you know you're aiming towards, but I don't think that you should have a plan B. Every successful person that I've heard that has made it against the grain and against the odds and grew up with everyone saying, you're never going to do this, every person who's become successful in that regard, they always say things like they never had a plan B, they never focused on anything else, and the whole obsession with the plan A is why they ended up succeeding. Because if they had multiple options, then there's easily going to be someone out there who doesn't have those options and are going to give it their all. So you need to be that person, and you need to focus on your plan A and just give it your all. Like, that's really all I'm trying to say. So I know my outlook on this might not be that common of a view to have, but I just want to reiterate here that I'm not talking to those of you who don't know what you want to do yet. I'm only talking to those of you who feel very inspired and motivated and want to do something specific that is not really the traditional way of going about things, and you know that you want to do this and it makes you happy and it's your passion. So if it's your passion and it's your dream to do it, then go right ahead, do it, no plan B. The only time a plan B is good is if you don't know what you're trying to do with your life. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say in today's video, so let me know what you think about everything I said in the comment section down below. And be sure to drop a big fat like down below if you found value in today's video, and with that being said, thank you so much for watching, chase your dreams, and I'll catch you in the next one.